Hi everyone, this is Dr. T. I'm the teacher for musical arrangement. When you come into my class, you're going to need a lead sheet right at the beginning. If you don't have one ready, you're already going to be behind. So, it'd be a good idea to get started on it now. In this video, I'm going to show you a few tips on how to successfully create a lead sheet. First thing you're going to do, of course, is open up Sibelius and start a new score. Choose Lead Sheet from the manuscript paper, and then select Next. You don't need to change the house styles, just select Next. Add your time signature here. If you have a pickup bar, you can add that here, along with the time value of the notes in your pickup bar. I don't have a pickup bar, so I'm going to leave that unchecked. Finally, add your metronome mark. I'm going to be showing you an arrangement of O When the Saints. And I'm going to start way below tempo. Sometimes it's a good idea to start very slow, as this can help you to input the notes correctly, and then you can speed it up as you go. It's a little bit like practicing a really difficult guitar part and turning the metronome way down and increasing it as you get more fluent in the passage. Here you're going to add your key signature. Sharps are on the left, flats are on the right, and you can select minor or major up here. Finally, you're going to add the information about your score. I'm not the composer or the songwriter, so I'm going to indicate that I'm the arranger. And I'm going to add a copyright date here. I'd suggest not creating a title page. Then, you're done your setup. Now, there are some things that you can do that might make it easier for you when you're inputting the necessary items. But before we begin, let's talk about what you should have in this lead sheet. I'm going to turn on dock hiding so I have a little bit more space. That's Command-Alt-D. Your lead sheet should have the chords above the staff, the vocal melody on the staff, and the lyrics below the staff. So the first thing you'll want to do is input the chords. You can use your session from Pro Tools or Logic to help you. The best way to enter chords in Sibelius is through using the chord tool. So press Command-K for chord. Command-C, of course, was already taken with copy. Sibelius will take the text you enter and format it into a chord symbol. For example, if I choose E major 7, when I move to the next chord, it formats it correctly for me. My first chord is E. Now to get to the next beat, I hit the space bar. To get to the next measure, I hit Tab. And remember, you don't need to have a chord symbol above every measure. Only put chord symbols when you have a chord change. My next chord change isn't till measure 8. Now what you're going to do is add the melody. And if you need a little help with this, here's something that I've found can be a useful tool. The most difficult part at the beginning is finding where to place the notes, the rhythm. You can go to Plugins, Text, and Number Beats. Oh, and you have to select a passage first, so I'm going to select everything. And there you go. Sibelius will label the beats for you. And when you start changing the size of the measure by adding things, those beats will stay over top of the proper beat location. Okay, now if I start adding notes right away, I can get too involved with the technical side of note entry, and I can forget exactly where the notes are supposed to go. So one thing that may be helpful is to tag the correct rhythmic location of the notes before I start entering them. To do that, you can use a symbol. So I'm going to go to the symbol menu by pressing Z. And I found that this little round quarter note head is the most effective symbol for me, but it doesn't really matter which one you use. It should be a bit on the small side. In order for me to show you this, I have to explain something about Sibelius's intelligent copy and paste. If I hold down the Alt key and click somewhere else, I'll create a duplicate of whatever was selected. So I'm going to hold down Alt, and I'm going to click where I hear a note occur. But before I do that, I'm just going to practice a couple times first. So my piece starts with a rest. 1. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. And that'll be enough for now. So I'm going to place the symbol wherever I hear a new word or a new note. So I have rest. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Notice I don't do anything here for 2, 3, 4 because this note is still holding for the duration of the measure. In. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Okay, so now let's go back and make those dots into rhythmic values. And right now, I'm not going to worry about the pitch. I'm going to worry about the rhythm. And it can be really helpful to separate those two things. So I'm just going to write everything on the middle line now. Everything on B, B4. Okay, so I don't have a dot here, so that means it's a rest, unless it's a dot that had been sustaining, but there's no dots before this. So I have O, turn that down a bit, when the saints. Okay, so that note actually holds for this entire measure. What note value holds for 4 beats? If you said a whole note, you are absolutely right. Saints. Okay, and I didn't have anything sounding here, so that would be a rest. Go marching in. Off. Nothing there, so again, that's a rest. Oh, excuse me. When the saints. Now notice that I'm sustaining into beat 2. Saints, go. And beat 3 is sustaining into beat 4. So what note value gets 1, 2 beats? If you set a half note, again, you're correct. And then beats 3 and 4, there are 2 beats here. So again, that's a half note. Saints, go, marching. So again, marching in, off. So this sustains for 4 entire beats. So I am going to make that a whole note. I could add a lot more rhythmic finesse here. I could change it to, oh, when the saints go marching in. But for a lead sheet, most of the time you want to capture what I call the core melody. That's the melody without all of the fancy stuff. It's the very most basic form of the melody. When you give it to a performer, that performer is going to add their own finesse, and they're going to do that naturally without you needing to tell them to do so. For now, we just want to capture that core melody. Alright, so now we have the core melody. I'm going to get rid of some of these other things. Now, let's try to find the actual notes. Oh, oh, this is the note I have here, and this is the note I need, so I'm gonna drag it down to here. Oh, when this is the note I have, and this is the note I need, so I'm gonna drag it down again. When, that's correct. Oh, when the saints. Okay, so now I have the first part of my melody. I know the second part is the same as the first. So actually what I can do is simply copy and paste. And then again, I'm going to hold down Alt and click on the first beat, and it'll copy that for me. Now I don't need another chord symbol here because it's still E. Go marching in. Okay, now what I'm going to do is add the lyrics. And to use lyrics, please use the lyric tool. If you don't use the lyric tool, you're going to have to revise it later. The lyric tool automatically adjusts the spacing of the words when you adjust the spacing of the music. If you simply create a text and try to make everything just right with spaces, well, what happens when later you need to adjust the music? Note that the notes move around, but the words don't move around with them. So you really can't use text entry. You have to use the lyric entry tool. So click on the first note and press Command L. I'll give you a cursor below. Now your lyric tool works in a similar way to your chord tool. If I hit space, I move on to the next word. And see how easy it is to move from one note to the next? Now here's something. If I have a word that has more than one syllable, I have to hit a dash in order to move to the next note. So marching is 2 syllables. The march goes on the G sharp and the ing goes on the A. So again, I type in march, then I hit hyphen which is directly beside the 0 on your keyboard, and that will advance me to the next note. If you have one word that is associated with many notes, for example, let's say that this word go was being held through all of these notes. Go. I would simply type the word go and hit space, and then space again, and Sibelius will draw an extender there. That tells the singer to keep singing that word go for all of those notes. Now, I'm not done yet. There's one more thing I need to do if I have one word with multiple notes, or one syllable with multiple notes. I need to select all of the notes and press S for slur. Now the singer will sing these 4 notes smoothly with one word. So those are some tips to get you started. Please work hard on your lead sheet. That will give you a great start when you come to musical arranging, and you can focus on more in-depth subjects during the class instead of revising your lead sheet. So have a good time this month in songwriting and development, and I look forward to seeing you soon.